We are live, and it is the bye week, but that doesn't mean the content stops. We got some big news to discuss as the New Orleans Saints are not playing on Sunday, but there's still changes that can and should be made. We're going to talk about Alontae Taylor because there have been extension talks according to the latest reports from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. I'm going to go through my 5 changes that the New Orleans Saints need to make throughout the bye week, and then we're going to get into some rumors and some NFL news and a mailbag as we always do. Welcome to Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Got my guy Loco Lopez on the ones and twos. And I hope you guys are ready for an awesome show. Let me know, since the Saints aren't playing this weekend, which games are you going to be tapped into? I will tell you right now, one that you should definitely be watching is the Falcons versus the Panthers. Let me know which games you're tapped into today. Thursday night football. Jets versus Patriots. Blech. Sunday morning, across the pond, Commanders versus Dolphins. Bleh. Bengals Steelers, Chargers Jags, Bucks Bills. That's actually a pretty fun one. That's actually a really good one. Bucks Bills is a really good game. Definitely going to be paying attention to that one. Chicago Minnesota, Houston Tennessee, Green Bay Giants, Seattle Rams, Niners Cardinals, Ravens Browns, Chiefs, Broncos. Sunday night football got a pretty good one. Lions versus Eagles. And then Monday night is the Chat Sports Bowl, Cowboys versus Raiders. What game are you guys tapped into? Mike is watching the Bears game. What up, Mike? Good to see you. He says, can we get a who dat? Give me a who dat in the comment section for my guy, Mike, Nintendo Master. Jerry G says, let's go Bills. Jartavia says, Bills versus Succaneers. I got the Bills. F the Succaneers. I agree. Terrell giving me a hoot at. Jerry G giving Mike a hoot at. Jeezy is watching Lions versus Eagles. That's going to be a fun one. I'm really, really excited about that game. Probably sim through all the games low-key. Hoot at from Jaden. Hoot at from Aaron. Hoot at from Logan. Mike, look what you started. A hoot at chant here live on Saints Now by Chat Sports. That's awesome. I love football. Braylon, Jaden, Andre, Jartavius, all getting in on the hoot at chant. So is Jaden, Keith, Jeremy, Braylon, a guy with a shirt. I am also a guy with a shirt. Jeezy, give me a hoot at. Moni says, I'm watching the Seahawks game for Shaheed. Yeah, I am too. I'm going to be watching our Sweet Prince go and ball out for Seattle. Lopez, how you doing on this beautiful Thursday afternoon?
Doing great.
Good.
It's Friday.
Yeah, it's our Friday.
It's amazing.
Hey, we have our live show, and then we just have a little bit of work, and then we get to start our weekend. And fun fact, I'm actually going to be on a bachelor trip this weekend for one of my dear friends from college. So if you want to buy the groom a drink, if you want to help me pick up the tab this weekend, send in a super chat, and we'll be able to buy the groom some beverages tonight and tomorrow night and Saturday, and it'll be a grand old time. A guy with a shirt says, I love Chase Young. He's been really impressive since he's been back from his calf injury that he suffered at the beginning of the season. I see Jesse. I see Jartavius, Daniel, Frederick, all giving me some hoot-ats, all getting active in the chat. Which games are you tapped into this weekend? I want to hear from the Hoot-at Nation. And I appreciate every single one of you who has tuned into today's video. And everyone of y'all is going to be hanging out with us throughout the rest of the day because we got some awesome coverage coming out for you. Interesting NFL news. Garrett Wilson has been placed on IR because of an aggravation of a previous knee injury. He is out tonight and 3 additional games. So Garrett Wilson, take him out of your fantasy lineups. That is the latest NFL news. What should the Saints do around Alontae Taylor? They have some decisions to make. Do they pay him? Do they let him walk in free agency? You're going to have to do one of these 2 things. What would you do if you were the GM? I see I Love Football saying I would pay him. Terrell says pay him. I agree. I also would pay Alontae Taylor.
How much do you think he would get, or how much do you think he would warrant in free agency?
See, that's a tough one to figure out because the market for Alontae Taylor is certainly interesting. He's a very versatile player. He has experience. Jeremy Fowler says that the top free agent corners, which Alontae Taylor, this free agency period, is arguably the top corner. They usually make about $18 million a year. That's according to Jeremy Fowler on new deals. So that is something to think about. Nice. I do believe you have to invest in your young talent at some point, and Alontae Taylor is one of those guys I think should be a part of the long-term future. It's really funny. I see a lot of pays, but a couple of weeks ago where everyone was saying trade him away or we don't want him on the team.
Because he got an interception last week.
It's interesting to see how things have progressed and how things have evolved over the few weeks. Jesse says pay. TZL says pay. Aaron, Jesse, Jerry G, Jernell all say pay. John Davis would pay him. T5 would pay him. Jeezy would pay him. Aaron, Moni, Daniel, Mike. Oh, wait. Mike says let him walk, but everyone else says let him pay him. Keith says pay Alontae Taylor. We don't need to lose key defenders. I agree. Chadwick, good to see you, brother. Hope you're having a wonderful day. He says pay. Jaden says let him walk. We'll have to see what happens. We're going to have this conversation and a bunch more here on today's show. Friendly reminder, like I said a minute ago, I'm going to be on a bachelor trip this weekend, leaving here this afternoon to go and hang out with some of my best friends from college. It's going to be great to have the fellas all back together. It's actually some of my roommates from my senior year, so it'll be we'll be throwing it back to the old days, if you will. And if you want to get my homie Zach Fulton crunk tonight, you want to get him a little bit lit and show him how the Who Dat Nation throws down, send in a super chat and let's buy the groom some beverages. Let's pick up the tab and let's show him an awesome weekend. Help me, help my buddy. That's all I'm saying.
If you send in a $5, that is one for Loco, basically. So if 3 people send in a 5, we might accidentally kill this guy.
Yeah, if we have a bunch of people sending some money, we might make this guy shotgun some 4 Locos or something. It'd be crazy. If you do send in a $10 super chat, you will get a helmet sticker on the Icy White helmet. So just want to let you know, if you do want to get on the helmet for 50% off, we do that every single time we go live outside of game days. But we also are trying to get the homie a great weekend and show him a good time because us Saints fans like to party, and I know that my buddy does too. Jerry G says, have fun, be safe. I will, brother. I will be safe. We'll have a good time. T5 says, turn up. We're going to turn down for what, though? Turn down for what? We're going to have a grand old weekend. Jaden, good to see you. I love football. Great question. Tommy, well, it's a good thing we don't have a game this weekend. I totally agree. The bye week is here. We're going to talk about the changes that they need to make. We're going to talk about the things that Kellen Moore can do to turn this team from a 2-8 squad into maybe a 5-win squad. That would be pretty cool, right? You know, just get some wins. B. Jammin says pay him. I agree with you, B. Jammin. All right, we're going to get into the content. If you have a mailbag question, use hashtag Saints. If you want to skip the line, send in a super chat. You'll be able to spend a few extra minutes on your question. You jump ahead everybody else. It's like the fast pass at Disney World or at your favorite local amusement park. So if you want to skip the line, super chat. If you want to get in for free, use hashtag Saints, just like I love football, just like Jerry G and some of the other legends. Keith Mason, I see you in there as well. So make sure you use hashtag Saints. If you don't, the software will not recognize your comment. So that's why we need you to do hashtag Saints. So that way the computer right here can make sure that they recognize you are asking a question. It's not a Mira Lopez thing. It's the technology. Can't live with it. Can't live without it. Let's make our mailbag really fun. Get some awesome questions in there. Jeezy says, question. If Shough made the QB change around week 3, where would we be? Use hashtag Saints and I'll answer it.
We'll talk.
I'll make a deal. I'm not going to answer that question unless you use hashtag Saints. And if you just do hashtag Saints and then a few messages later send in a question, that's not going to get you on. Janelle, I appreciate you getting a hashtag Saints in, but there's no context. It just says hashtag Saints, so not much of a question or a thing to talk about. So if you want to get on the show, hashtag Saints and insert your comment, question, or hot take that you would like to share. Alrighty, Lopez, let's start off with some bye weeks. So Janelle, for example, this is how this pops up. Hashtag Saints, because that's all the message said. And we appreciate you getting on the show. We're glad to show that beautiful face here to thousands of fans of this New Orleans Saints. But we want to make sure that we have a conversation. So use hashtag Saints, insert a question, a hot take, a comment, whatever you would like, and we can have a conversation. Alrighty, let's have some fun. Let's get into it. Time to talk some ball. If you're ready, drop a like on this video and give me a who dat in the comment section. I see 57 people watching, but we only have 20 likes. That is absolutely unacceptable. We will start when we get to 25 likes, so make sure you do that right here, right now. We are sitting at 21. I need 4 more. Give me Kool-Aid McKinstry likes. I need Kool-Aid McKinstry number of likes. Because if I say Derek Carr, we just won't get it. By the way, on the TV behind the camera, we have the Falcons collapsing in Berlin to the Colts.
We've watched these highlights a good bit this week.
We have watched this multiple times because it just objectively.
It was so good.
It's so funny. It's so funny to see that. All righty, Tommy, great question. Jeezy, great. There it is. I see you. We'll make sure you get it in there. Jartavia says 4 for Kool-Aid. We're at 30 likes. Let's start this party. Lopez, we lather the pipes. And let's talk some ball. Alrighty, Saints fans. Hope you guys are ready to learn about the changes the Saints should make during the bye week, and we're going to have some fun. Yep. The bye week is here for the New Orleans Saints, but that doesn't mean that changes can't be made, and that doesn't mean the content stops. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard, so let's explore some things that Kellen Moore could do to improve the New Orleans Saints and get them to a position where they can go and win some games after Week 12. Obviously, they only have 2 wins right now. They have a very easy stretch at the back half of the season, and I want to see the New Orleans Saints make some changes to help them build for the future. Now, let's first start off by saying what Kellen Moore had to say about the bye week. Here's kind of the strategy. Here's what they're doing. Every year is different. We have the later bye. We don't have a Thursday game this year. So this is our one opportunity for our guys to breathe and recharge themselves. He said that a lot of guys are going to be at home recovering. A lot of guys are going to be doing their own thing. And then there'll also be guys around the facilities getting their treatment, getting their work and everything like that. But Kellen Moore needs to make some changes. He needs to do some things to improve this roster and get them to a position where they're competing at a high level, playing complete football, and getting a good read on what the future could potentially look like in New Orleans. First thing that I think that Kellen Moore should do in the Saints in terms of a bye week change is add more screens to the playbook. This is such a basic one. I mean, hear me out. This is a crazy idea for you. Alvin Kamara, number 41, that running back, has a lot of yards, a lot of receiving yards, one of the best receiving backs in all of football ever, in my opinion. Dude, crazy concept. He's dangerous in open space. You throw him the ball where nobody else is there and you just let him cook. Crazy thought. Do that more. We saw the Saints do that against the Panthers. We saw Alvin Kamara have some really nice run, and he had a really good game. And putting Alvin Kamara in open space is a strength throughout his whole career. And I think putting this screen game into the playbook and having that be more heavily emphasized is a smart decision, considering 4 of your last games that you play are against 3 of the top 10 teams in blitz percentage. So in terms of the top 10, you have 3 opponents that you are playing 4 games. You still have to play the Falcons twice. You play the Dolphins and the Jets. The Falcons blitz the number 2 rate in the National Football League, 41%. The Dolphins, 30.8%. The Jets, 27%. And the screen game is a good way to combat the blitz, combat the pressure, and be able to move the ball downfield, especially against Atlanta. They have done a lot to add to their pass rushing unit. So I think that the Saints need to do their best to find ways to combat it and compete against it and find ways to come out on the other end as the successful side of the football. Now, do you think the Saints need to run more screens? Simply Y for yes, N for no. Let me know what you think. I don't know how you could say no. I think that adding screens to this game is just such a basic idea that the Saints just need to do. Now, another thing that the Saints should do in terms of changes to make during the bye week, find Danny Stutsman a role. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm some football guru and I have all the answers for how we can maximize each and every player, but I do know that Danny Stutsman is a player that has been getting significantly more run, and the production that you're getting in the limited snaps, it's extremely impressive. So with Danny Stutsman, he's been rotating a lot in with Pete Werner, and when you look at them side by side, you can see the snap count way heavily favors Pete Werner. But the production, it isn't necessarily too far off for Danny Stutsman. Obviously, no sacks, no pass breakups, no forced fumbles. Pete Werner does have 2 fumble recoveries, and I do believe Pete Werner is starting to stack some nice games. And obviously, the Saints did not trade him at the deadline. There was chatter about maybe they do make that move to open up opportunities for Stutsman. But I think when it comes to this player specifically, you need to find ways to get him on the field. Brandon Staley needs to get creative. He needs to figure out what that role is, because the usage of Danny Stutsman, although I think it's been underwhelming, when he's on the field, the impact is definitely there. So I want to figure out what Stutzman's role is. Do you line him up next to Demario Davis more often? Do you find ways to have an extra linebacker on the field? Like, I don't know exactly what that means, but you need to get him on the field more often. He is a playmaker. He is productive. And he's somebody whose development I'm really not willing to put a rift into that just because I want to give Pete Werner more snaps because we're paying him more. Like, you got to find ways to get him on the field so he can continue to be a big part of this defense. And I think the future for this defense revolves around this guy. Now, another player that you need to see more from, Devin Neal. Devin Neal, Devin Neal, Devin Neal, Devin Neal, Devin Neal. I will never stop saying it, and I'm going to explain why here in just 1 second. But first things first, got to thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is none other than Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy app in the entire world. I love Prize Picks. I play it every single time I'm watching sports. Lopez, he's been cashing in big time on Prize Picks, and you can too. We got a pretty sweet deal for you. If you download the app, use code CLNS, you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's very simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks, by the way, is now the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Josh Allen's passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns? Well, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. They put their users first, so all withdrawals are fast and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this season. The Saints are not playing, but I'm going to keep my eyes on the NFC South. I'm going to pick Ted McMillan to score a touchdown, Drake London to score a touchdown, and my sweet prince, Rashid, the need for speed, Shaheed. I think he finds the end zone. If we get 3 touchdowns, your boy's cashing in a major, major way. Download Prize Picks today. Use code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Click the link in the comments or description of this video to get started today. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I love Prize Picks. You will too. Put your ball knowledge to the test and go cash in with Prize Picks. Alrighty, I want to see more of Devin Neal. That is not something that I am willing to hinder from. Why? Quite literally, as we're filming this video, I just watched Devin Neal's little pass that he got from Tyler Shough against the Panthers, found him in an open space. I mean, it just was such a nice play all around. But I think that Devin Neal is a player that, honestly, I don't know how he dropped as far as he did in the draft. He was a 6th-round pick by the New Orleans Saints. He's a rookie. This guy is suited to be a workhorse. He is really, really strong. He has great short area quickness. He has very underrated receiving ability. And he's somebody that I think should operate much more frequently in this Saints offense. Obviously, Kendre Miller, he went down with the season-ending injury, and it felt like the Saints rushing attack after that completely stalled out. And then you get Taysom Hill back, and it's cool, but you're starting to kind of force-feed Taysom Hill, and I just think that that's not a good idea anymore. And I love Taysom Hill, but he is not the player he once was. Dare I say, he may be washed. You got to stop force-feeding Taysom Hill and need to start force-feeding Devin Neal. That player has a lot less tread, or a lot more tread on the tires. He has a lot less hits that he's taken. Devin Neal is a player that is a rookie that you can learn a lot about. He can add a spark. There's not a ton of tape of him. Why are we not putting him on the field more frequently? And to be totally honest, I think that you can utilize him between the tackles so much more often. And I think when you talk about Alvin Kamara, what did we say a little bit earlier? Get him in open space. Allow Devin Neal to operate within the tackles. Let Devin Neal take the hits and let Alvin Kamara get all the finesse and do his thing and maximize his usage. I think if you maximize Devin Neal, you also have the ability to maximize Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara. So I would like to see more from Devin Neal, and I'd like to see him be a much more prominent part of the Saints offense. Now, the Saints are 30th in yards per rush in 28th, in rushing yards per game. Less than 100 yards per game and less than 4 yards per rush. Find ways to be better. It's not rocket science. I know that some of it has to do with the offensive line, but you got to find ways to get the offensive game rolling, especially on the ground. You need to get the ground game going. Now, 2 more changes that I think the Saints should consider making. Let's get more plays under center. Let's let Tyler Shough operate under center. And we got a pretty interesting quote from Kellen. We got some interesting stuff that I want to talk about. But in my personal opinion, when I'm looking at the tape and I'm rewatching everything from the Saints versus Panthers game, and I even go back to Saints versus Rams and Saints versus Bucks when we saw Tyler Shough. In my personal opinion, when he was under center, he seemed very, very comfortable. He seemed like he had more control over the offense. And I think when you have your quarterback under center, it gives them more control. It gives them a better vision. It allows the offense to be a little bit more unpredictable. And so for the Saints moving forward, do that. not saying every play has to be from under center, but I think if you get under center more regularly, it can allow the offense to be just more productive, more just flashy and honestly and explosive, but also just overall it will look better and it'll be a better squad. Kellen Moore was asked about playing under center more regularly, and here's what he had to say on Monday to media. I think your guys are having success under center in the run game. For us, it's continuing to find what best suits us each and every week based off the opponent. Something for us to look at, or it's certainly something for us to look at. There's some positives that have come out of the last few weeks. We are got to continue to build on that. And it's no question the Saints are still looking to find their identity. Obviously, when Kellen Moore was with Dallas and with Los Angeles, they were a high-flying passing offense. When he was with Philadelphia, they were a ground-and-pound, run-first team. They're trying to figure out what the identity is in New Orleans, and that's okay. But under center, it opens up the play action. It's easy to disguise run versus passes plays, and it's much easier in terms of communication, calling out checks, calling out audibles, communicating with the rest of the squad. And I do think whenever you play a little bit heavier in certain situations, you've seen the Saints find success in that regard in terms of the offensive line that they have out there playing under center with that. I think that that's something the Saints definitely should consider. Get under center more frequently to give Tyler Shough more comfort and a better chance to succeed in this offense. And lastly, this is such an obvious one, and that's why I made it the last one. Do I even need to say it? How many times are we going to have this conversation? I want it on record. I made an entire video about this topic. But let's look at the wide receiver room. I'm going to tell you right now. That's it. This is your wide receiver room. You don't have anyone else. You traded away Rashid Shaheed, and this is what you got right now. Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks. Love Olave. Cooks, he's fine as a veteran, I guess. No disrespect to Mason Tipton. But Devaughn Vele is the player in the wide receiver room who needs to step up in the biggest way. And part of that is on Vele. Part of that is on the quarterback. Part of that is on Kellen Moore. Part of that is on the offensive line. Part of that is on the play calling. There's a lot of things to point the finger at in terms of why Devaughn Vele hasn't been more productive. He hasn't gotten a ton of snaps, but we're starting to see that change now that Rashid Shaheed is out of the picture. But you invested a top 100 selection in this player. You traded a 4th and a 7th round pick. The Saints need to make right on that investment. I'm not saying he needs to be a 1,000-yard receiver, but damn it, can we get 400, 500 yards? Can we get more than one catch? Can we get more than 30% of snaps? It's just frustrating. And I will encourage you, check this video out. I did go through a full breakdown on Devaughn Vele, how to get him more involved, where he succeeds better, the deep stats, the snap counts, the analytics, the advanced metrics. We went into a really, really in-depth analysis on Devaughn Vele. What the hell is going on with him? I got the answers. Click the link in the comments or description of this video. That's the thumbnail if you want to go check it out. But all in all, to kind of give you the spark notes of it, line him up in the slot. Don't be afraid to feed him contested catches. And utilize him in the frickin' red zone. The Saints need to make right on their investment. I cannot say it enough. They need to be better. They need to get the most out of Devaughn Vele as they can. Obviously, Rashid Shaheed was a part of the offense. You traded him away. It opened up the opportunity for him. And last week, he played the highest percentage of snaps among all wide receivers. So let's now turn the snaps into catches, in targets, and production. Now, if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We are on the road to 100,000. We're just over 52K, so a little over halfway there. Today, we're just trying to get to 150, so 45 Saints fans. If you hit the sub button, I promise you won't regret it, and you'll be helping me out in a big way. We're a little under 48,000 subscribers away from 100,000, but everyone helps. Let's chip away to 100K and lock us in for Saints content by fans, for fans, every single day. All righty. You got a question, we got answers. Use hashtag Saints, send in a super chat if you would like to be featured on the mailbag. What about Polk? He is on IR. He's on IR. He can't play because he is not available. He'll be back next year. And I think that people were saying that was a bad move from the jump. I think it was a worse move trading for Jalen Polk because he can't even play this year. So,
just when you thought it couldn't get worse, you were wrong.
Yeah. Linda, good to see you. I love football. Good to see you. Jeezy, Hayden, Tommy, Jartavius, Aaron. Appreciate y'all for keeping the comment section rolling. Make sure you get your questions and hot takes in. We're just a few minutes away from the mailbag portion of this video. If you have questions, if you have hot takes, if you have ideas, I want to hear from you. Hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. Linda and Jerry G showing each other some love. Good to see that in the chat. We found love in the Saints now chat. We found love in the Saints now chat. Good to see everyone on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. All righty. Should we just dive straight into number 2? Just get after it, start churning and burning? Might as well. All right, we're going to get into some talks around Alontae Taylor. Extension? Is it happening? We're going to figure it out here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. Sports. Chat Sports. I'm so surprised that the Patriots didn't make a move for a receiver at the deadline. 100% they tried.
I wonder how much they were willing to give up.
Yeah. Because it's also like you could, they're doing fine right now. They draft the wide receivers and stuff. And life's good.
I could see making a big splash in the offseason. Maybe a big offseason trade.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Because A.J. Brown seems to still not be happy.
Mm-hmm. I could see them going and getting somebody like that. Oh, man. CTM! Just want to say shuck it. That's it. Hey, CTM, appreciate you for helping buy my buddy a beer. Going on a bachelor trip this evening. And if you guys want to help me show the bachelor a good time, send in some super chats. I'll buy the homie some beers. And if we get $10, every $10 we get, it's a helmet sticker. So if you would like to get a helmet sticker and contribute to a great cause, send in a super chat today.
Yeah.
Jermaine Smith from Ohio State.
Jeremiah Smith.
Huh?
Jeremiah Smith, I believe.
Yeah,
he is
Jeremiah
not
Smith?
draft eligible, though.
Yeah, he's not draft eligible.
Yes. Unless Jermaine Smith is this random guy I've never heard of.
Yeah. I'm going to look up Jermaine Smith because I've never heard of Jermaine Smith. That's my favorite thing is when I'm trying to talk ball and I'm like, oh, I don't know the guys' names because then I just don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, Jermaine Smith is a football coach. He is an American junior college football coach and former Arena Football League player. He is the head football coach for Minnesota West Community and Technical College. That's a real place, Minnesota West Community and Technical College. They have a football team, and Jermaine Smith is the coach there.
Jermaine Smith.
I would not draft the head coach of Minnesota West Community and Technical College. That's just me personally. But if that's what you want to do, we don't have a 7th-round pick, but I guess you could use a 6th-rounder.
LSU, pick up the phone. That's your new
LSU,
coach.
start making calls. Yeah.
That's your next coach.
Brian Kelly replacements on the rip.
Jermaine Smith.
Alrighty, Susan, Aaron, and Aaron. We got 2 Aarons sending in some questions. Wade, that's a great question. I'm not going to answer it unless you use hashtag Saints, though. Should the Saints look to pick up Travis Etienne in free agency? You should use hashtag Saints, and I'll give you my take. I will not give you my take unless you do. Alrighty, let's get into some news around Alontae Taylor. We like to talk rumors. We like to talk news. We like to talk buzz. We like to talk Saints. So that's what we're going to do here on the channel. This one's Fanatics, right? Perfect. Yes. Yes. Alrighty. Lopez, whenever you are ready, my friend, let's dive on in. Should the Saints bring back Alontae Taylor? Well, there's some reports that maybe they're trying to do that. We're going to talk about the potential of number 1 sticking around in New Orleans because they do have decisions to make. He will be a free agent, and we know that he was getting some interest at the trade deadline. He's extremely versatile and arguably the top free agent corner in this free agency class. So let me know what you think in the comments section. Before we dive into the reports, what should the Saints do? Put on your Mickey Loomis hat, type pay, or type walk for what you would do with Alontae Taylor. The Saints have a decision to make around their young corner, and the question is he a part of their long-term plans or not? Personally, that's a question that I cannot answer. You can't answer. The only people who can are Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley. But we do know that the New Orleans Saints at least have shown some interest in trying to keep this player around. The latest reports from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN are as follows. The Saints and Taylor once discussed an extension, but a deal never happened, which made him a trade candidate at last week's deadline. The Bears and Colts showed interest. As a reference point, the top 2025 free agent corners earned about $18 million per year on new deals. Now, I understand that $18 million a year may scare some of you guys away, and I understand that that may be a high price tag, but in my personal opinion, at some point, you need to invest in the young talent you have, and there's nothing wrong with paying the young players that are contributors and are going to be a part of the future. So for that reason, I would keep Alontae Taylor. I would like to see number one stick around in New Orleans. I really appreciate the versatility that he has, being able to play inside or outside, being able to rush the passer, being able to drop back in coverage, stop the run. I understand that there are strengths and weaknesses to his game, but I think that he's a player that's gotten better every year, and I don't think that we've totally reached the peak of what Alontae Taylor is capable of. And in case you didn't know, he's actually having a really good year. Mr. Consistency, I guess is what we should call him. I had to double check this, but Alontae Taylor, 4th in solo tackles, 4th in pressures, and 4th in receptions allowed among all cornerbacks in the National Football League, which in my opinion, I understand he has been hot, he has been cold. You're getting really good production from Alontae Taylor this year. And when you look at the cornerback room, it is a little bit thin if you do let Alontae Taylor leave. Now, obviously, you can fulfill needs in free agency and in the draft, but I just really like the crew that they have in their cornerback room. I think Quincy Riley, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Alontae Taylor are a really nice trio. And I think that Ugo Amadi is a fine player, is a free agent this offseason. It just, to me, makes too much sense to try and pay Alontae Taylor and keep him around. And like I said a little bit ago, investing in young talent isn't a bad thing. Like, I know that a lot of us have a bad taste in our mouths for paying these high contracts to some of these guys. But you also can't just let every player walk in free agency. You need to keep some of these guys around, and the Saints don't have the roster to just let dudes walk away and say, all right, we'll figure it out next year, the year after that. Like, if you keep Alontae Taylor, it helps you limit the roster holes, and it helps eliminate an extra need. In my opinion, is a slight need. The cornerback, defensive back area does need some help, but I don't think that it's this major pressing need. And Alontae Taylor, in my opinion, just makes more sense to pay him than to pay another corner in free agency. So coming up, we're going to talk about some options at cornerback if Alontae Taylor does end up walking in free agency, because, maybe he does leave. Maybe he plays really, really well the back half of the season and, outplays himself of a contract the Saints are willing to pay. So we'll have to figure out what are the options now. We'll have that conversation. I encourage you, though, to subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports for daily Saints videos. We've been putting out a video every single day by fans for fans. So turn on your notifications, join our family of over 52,000 subscribers, and lock us in for 100% free. Now, replacing Alontae Taylor, I'm not going to tell you is this easy thing to do. It's actually much harder than you think. And I know on the surface level, you're just replacing a corner. Sure, but you're also replacing a guy who can play inside or outside. You're replacing a leader. You're replacing a guy who is a spark of energy for the defense. You're replacing somebody, and you would have to replace somebody who offers all of the things that Alontae Taylor does at that same level. If not, you're striving for more. So when you consider, okay, who could we pay? Who could we bring in today to contribute right now and play at a high level? Well, there's a handful of free agent defensive backs that you could potentially address. We're going to show you a list of some corners. We're going to show you a list of some safeties, because obviously we know in Brandon Staley's scheme, it is a versatile thing to do. It's a versatile thing group, but I'm going to talk about that in a moment. First, we got to tell you guys about the Salute to Service collection. If you love the troops, and if you have a friend, family member, loved one in the armed forces, I promise you, you get them one of these Saints Salute to Service hats, hoodies, jerseys, T-shirts, whatever, you're going to be at the top of their power rankings. If you go to chatsports.com/NO Salute, that's New Orleans Salute, obviously, You can get yourself some Salute to Service gear, jerseys, T-shirts, hats, hoodies, footballs, memorabilia, all sorts of really cool stuff. I encourage you to support the troops and support the Saints. We're starting to turn things around. And hey, if you're ashamed, it's camouflage colors, so you'll blend in. So life's good. But go to chatsports.com/NOSalute. Click the link in the comments or description to get your Salute to Service gear today. November, it's Salute to Service month, so support the troops. All right, free agency targets in the defensive back room. You can go with a handful of these options. Personally, I don't love any of these. Watson, Reek Woolen, and Greg Newsome, more cornerbacks. Obviously, they're going to be players who contribute on the outside. Quentin Lake and Jaquan Brisker, they're safeties. So, like, when I look at the top free agent defensive backs, like, none of these guys, to me, are better than Alontae Taylor, at least in terms of what I would ask them to do and fulfill Alontae Taylor's role. Like, I like Alontae Taylor better than any of the free agents that we just showed you. And for that reason, I would like to pay Alontae Taylor. If you're going to spend money in free agency on a cornerback, you might as well keep the guy who has chemistry, has built camaraderie, understands the team, understands the city, understands the fan base, has the ability to continue to contribute. I just think it makes too much sense to pay Alontae Taylor versus paying another corner. I just think that would be a waste of money when you could just keep him around and have him be a part of the long-term plan. Now, you also can address the needs in the draft. Of course, that is a place where I think the Saints will be very active in adding players to fulfill the roster needs. Look, not all these guys are going to be guys in the corner. Not all these guys are going to be dudes that are, some of these guys are just strictly corner. Some of these guys are strictly safety. Some of these guys can do a little bit of everything, but none of these guys are like, oh my God, that is the replacement. The absolute exception, though, Caleb Downs. Are you kidding me? That would be awesome. Like, if you did let Alontae Taylor walk, I am sprinting to the stage with my card that says Alontae Taylor, Caleb Downs. If you let Alontae Taylor walk in free agency, Caleb Downs needs to be a priority in the draft. And I think that he would be an awesome addition to this defense. In my opinion, he's one of the best overall defensive players and arguably one of the best players in all of college football. He's somebody that could fulfill a need. He can play at a high level. He has the pedigree, the experience, the high football IQ, the high-level play. He's somebody that would be a huge impact on this defense. But again, I really like the young defensive back group that they have. And if you're telling me I could get Arvell Reese over Caleb Downs, keep Alontae Taylor, just thinking about that got me feeling nice. I'm starting to foam at the mouth just, visualizing that as my defensive squad. And I think Taylor can be a really good leader amongst the defensive back group. Obviously, Justin Reed is not a part of the long-term plans, so you can still add a high-level safety early in the draft if you really wanted to. But I think when it comes to Alontae Taylor, it is in the best interest of the New Orleans Saints to keep him in New Orleans rather than letting him walk in free agency. If you let him go test the free agent market, he might go and cash in a big way, and I could see a lot of teams desiring his services. Specifically, the Chicago Bears and Dennis Allen, I could see them wanting to have a reunion. Now, if you want to get more content in between these videos, I highly encourage you to hit me up on social media. Search up Trizzy Trace on X, Instagram, or TikTok. Or you can click the link in the comments and description of this video. It'll take you directly to my profiles. If you use social media, I'm active on it, so hit your boy up. And y'all stay golden. We will see you next time. All right. We keep on keeping on. We just keep on moving. We keep on moving. I do like AJ Halsey, Brian Dawkins build from I Love Football. You're as our LSU expert, Lopez. Tell me a little bit about AJ Halsey. What do you think?
Don't get me wrong, love AJ Halsey. Started in game 1. I believe he had that interception against Clemson. I think that was him. Coverage in the secondary was great this year from him. But if we're getting an LSU DB, the first guy you're looking at is Mansour Delane. Yeah. He is the guy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that Mansour Delane should be the higher priority if you want to draft a corner. Yeah. He's a dog, dude.
Also, I think Halsey's more of a safety than a corner, so really if we're trying to fill that Alontae Taylor role, you're going to need that corner.
Sure. Well, and that's where it's like maybe you get a safety to fulfill that role just in terms of like how it may fit with Brandon Staley in that scheme. Like maybe it is more of a safety, maybe it is a corner. Like this this role that Alontae Taylor has is considered a star role. It's similar to how Jalen Ramsey was being used in the Rams defense. And so when you talk about that kind of player and that kind of usage and that kind of role, I think Alontae Taylor can fit it really well. I also think that Caleb Downs could fit it really, really well. AJ Halsey, I think, could be fine. But, like, if you're going Mansour Delane, he's more of a true outside
Mansour Delane
right?
is one of those guys, I can put him on an island outside, and I think he will win most of the matchups.
See, and that's where it gets interesting, because if you do want to draft Mansour Delane, you can go, all right, Mansour, Kool-Aid, and Quincy Riley. Between the three of you, figure it out, and let's just put the three best defensive backs on the field. Like, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Now,
Get the three best dudes on your roster on the field? When has that ever been a bad idea? Not often.
hey, but you know the Saints don't like drafting best player available. They
No,
like
no.
someone that they can,
Yeah, we're going to
they like
take
to
Tommy
mold
Smith
someone.
out of Western Michigan, like at A&M Tech at Ann Arbor or something.
Yeah, it's all right, though, because he's a project, and he's going to turn into a superstar.
Yeah.
Just like Marcus Davenport, just like Peyton Turner,
Yeah.
just like all those guys.
Yeah. Well, I also it just it's objectively like it's not we're not rooting for injuries, but objectively now that they're off the team, it's just so wild that neither of them have built a career outside of their injuries. Like Peyton Turner went on IR very quickly.
They are known for their injuries.
Yes. Marcus Davenport, when he's healthy, contributes, but he's never healthy. And I don't think he's like etched a big contract like ever. So
He went to the Vikings.
he went to the
last,
Vikings, then he also went to the Lions, I believe, if I remember that correctly.
I don't remember the line. I
Let's
kind
see
of
here.
might have
I'm
heard
actually
it.
going to look up. I haven't looked up at Marcus Davenport's stats in a long time. Let's look.
Where's Peyton Turner at, too?
I think he's in Dallas, isn't he?
Maybe. Fun fact, a couple nights after draft night, had a friend back at LSU match with Peyton Turner on Tinder. I said, hey, go for it. Glad she didn't.
That's so funny, dude. Okay, so he has played in 2 games this season.
Yep, he is.
Marcus Davenport played against Green Bay and Chicago in early September. Has 1 sack, 5 tackles, and 1 QB hit. And since then, he played 15 games. So since New Orleans, since leaving New Orleans, 4, 5, 6, he has played 8 games. Marcus Davenport has played 8 games in 3 seasons since leaving New Orleans.
Do you want to guess the injury that put Peyton Turner on season-ending IR? Because I don't think I've ever seen this.
Dude, I forgot that he had 9 sacks in 2021. That's unbelievable. Wait, would you say that again?
Do you want to guess the injury that had Peyton Turner on season-ending IR?
It's going to be something stupid, isn't it?
I've never seen this rule a guy out for the entire season.
Is it illness?
Ribs.
Ribs. So
Ribs.
it's like broken ribs?
I've seen guys return from broken ribs, though. This guy got hurt
Taysom Hill
in the
played through
offseason.
broken ribs last year.
He got hurt in the offseason.
Alvin Kamara
was
played
put
through
in
broken ribs last
IR, and now misses all of 2025 because of a rib injury. Not to like make fun at it, maybe it is a really bad rib injury, but I've just never seen a guy be out an entire year.
Yeah,
from
no,
ribs.
like I'm not sitting here saying that it's, but yeah, I've never seen a rib injury keep somebody out for the year. Like you go on IR and you come back a few months later, sure. I've never seen, you're done.
Yeah. Like this happened in the
Altogether,
offseason too, so remember this happened, he was put on IR 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking rib injury, you're back in 3 months.
At that point, just put him on the pup. Unless you're like, yeah, that was a
I don't
mistake
know.
to sign him and we just don't want to deal with it. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'm not a doctor.
But you know what I do know is the mailbag's coming up, so you better use hashtag Saints.
It is.
How are we looking on questions? Can we use a few more?
Let's see. I know Jaden had a good one.
Jaden had a question as always. I Love Football had questions.
I Love Football had a good one too. That
If you would like to be featured in our mailbag, use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat because the mailbag will start here in a moment. And once it starts, no promise that your question will get featured. So if you want to make sure you get on the show, hashtag Saints. If you want to skip the line, spend a few extra minutes on your question, use the super chat function as well, and we'll make sure that we can respond to y'all and have a great conversation.
I do have good news. We have our weekly Michael Thomas coming back question.
Yep,
It
I
is
did
locked
see
and
that.
loaded.
I did see that. Did see that. Can't have a Saints mailbag without talking about signing Michael Thomas. When was Michael Thomas's last game?
Ever since, he has been in almost every Saints
Michael
game.
Thomas' last game was November 12th, 2023, against the Minnesota Vikings. Sustained a knee injury. 732 days since he's played football. I went on record.
He's so coming
I have
back.
taken snaps and I have played football more recently than Michael Thomas.
He is so coming back.
I played intramural flag football more recently than Michael Thomas has played real football.
He is coming back. You can't stop him now.
Oh my God, I can't believe this. Yep, death taxes, Michael Thomas. I mean, it's inevitable, man. It's inevitable. Alrighty, let's break it on down. Y'all got questions, we got answers, and we're gonna have some fun here on Saints Now.
Let me get my timer pulled up.
Do what?
Let me get my timer pulled up.
Cool, you're good. All right, let's party. Yep. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. Let's go through some NFL news that involves the New Orleans Saints. And then we're going to do a Golden Gang Q&A as we do every single live show. I encourage you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and help us become the #1 Saints YouTube channel across the world. Now, we do have some interesting NFL news. Saints legend Khalen Saunders, he has been released. And why does this impact the Saints? Well, remember, the New Orleans Saints had Khalen Saunders. He was around for a little bit, had some really fun moments. Best one was either when he lined up as a receiver against the Bears or when he got the pick against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City on Monday Night Football. A lot of fun moments in New Orleans, but obviously as Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley's team started to take over and their scheme started to prevail, Khalen Saunders' role started to lower and he started to get fizzled out, so much so that he was talked about as a player who would be a cut candidate. And the New Orleans Saints, rather than cutting him, they actually made a trade during the preseason. Remember this. We broke it down when it happened. Sorry, Bink, miss you in New Orleans, but I think we're doing a lot better now, and I think he's happy doing his thing. He gets the opportunity to go and play somewhere else. I know that getting cut isn't fun, but in terms of the trade, looks like the Saints won. Rare Mickey Loomis W. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Saints won the trade. No question about it. I mean, Luke Fortner, he is now a starter for the Saints offensive line. They traded for him because Will Clapp suffered a season-ending injury in the first week of the preseason. Remember, they signed him to be a contributor and be the backup backup center behind Eric McCoy. Now McCoy has an injury that'll keep him out for an extended period of time. Luke Fortner gets slotted in as the starter, and I got to say shout out to Mickey Loomis for pulling this one off because it's clearly going well. And again, context matters here. You haven't seen a ton of play from Luke Fortner, but in terms of what we've seen so far, I know Pro Football Focus isn't the gospel, but they're really favoring Luke Fortner. He's 3rd out of 37 qualifying centers in pass blocking grade, 9th in run blocking grade, 8th in overall grade, no sacks, no pressures, only 2 hits and 0 penalties. And again, I understand that it hasn't been a ton, but come on. Like, player for player swap, it worked out for us in a big way. Luke Fortner playing really good football right now. And so I'm going to say it, don't let Mickey get trade happy. And when I say don't let him get trade happy, I mean 2 things. One, don't let him think, oh my God, we started to fleece some guys. Now we're ready to go make all the trades. Don't let him do that. But by all that same token, don't let him just start trading for picks and trading up, trading down. Like, no. We are far from a complete roster. We are far from being done. This is one of those rare Mickey Loomis W's. This is one of those trades that favors the Saints. And I don't think you need to force more trades moving forward. Don't let him get trade happy, but you got to give him some credit. The past few trades, obviously Devaughn Vele, Jalen Polk make kind of people mad, but you got really nice return for Rashid Shaheed. You severely won the Marshawn Lattimore trade. So don't let him get trade happy because I don't want to move off of any picks. You should still be trading guys away, not trading for players, in my personal opinion. But let's revisit it. Khalen Saunders for Luke Fortner. I believe the Saints won the trade, and if you agree with me, smash the thumbs up icon and drop a like on this video. Now coming up, we're going to get into the mailbag portion of this video. One of my favorite things we do here at Saints Now. Y'all have questions, we have answers, and we're going to have a conversation with the live chat. But first, we got to thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, my favorite way to get game day, especially Saints game day, maximized. Quite frankly, the Saints have not been fun to watch this year. Just going to call a spade here. There's been 2 good games. The Giants and the Panthers game were a lot of fun, but that's been all hunky-dory, if you will. But you know what's been a lot of fun is playing Prize Picks. I've been playing Prize Picks all season long, and I've been cashing in. And I got a pretty sweet deal for you. If you download the Prize Picks app today, use code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Pretty awesome deal. Click the link in the comments and description to get started today. In case you didn't know, Prize Picks is and how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the Flex Play where you can get paid even if none of your picks hit. And if you want you can get paid even if one of your picks misses, I should say. And if you want the biggest payouts, hold on, I'm going to start that part over because I messed that up. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, we're going to start the Prize Picks read from the top. Sorry, y'all. I don't want to give you guys a bad information. I want to make sure we're doing right by our sponsors, and I want to make sure that they're happy with the product because you guys deserve the best, and we owe it to y'all to give you the best. So this episode of Saints Now by Chat Sports is brought to you by Prize Picks. I absolutely love Prize Picks, and so will you. And let's be honest, Saints games have not been all that fun to watch this year, but on Prize Picks, I've been able to at least make it tolerable because your boy's been cashing in big time. If you want to sweeten the deal, we got $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use code CLNS, you can take advantage of that deal. I love Prize Picks, and so will you. They offer injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. And it's the best way to win cash this season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your opinions into cash all season long. If you think Tyler Shough is getting severely disrespected, take the more in all of his categories, and you can do that with the stacks feature on Prize Picks. And obviously, the Saints are not playing this week, but we do have a fun lineup for you if you want to go and win some money. I'm still keeping tabs on my sweet Prince Rashid Shaheed, so I'm going to take the more on just half a touchdown. Find the end zone once, and your boy's making money. The same with Ted McMillan and Drake London. These are all demon selections, meaning it's a little bit harder to hit, but the payout, oh boy, that payout makes it so worth it. 3 catches, and your boy can make some big-time money. Download Prize Picks today. Use code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Click the link in the comments or description of this video to get started today. Download Prize Picks. I promise you won't regret it. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Alrighty, I love football. First question. Trizzy and Lopez, would you get rid of Nathan Shepard in the offseason so you can let Vernon Broughton and Christian Boyd get playing time? I think they can be dogs. So I'm going to go here and then here. Yes, I agree that they can be dogs. I really like Christian Boyd. Vernon Broughton, at the time, a little bit of a head-scratching draft pick. I thought they reached a little bit, but you know what we saw in the preseason was really, really good things from that player. Obviously, he is out with an injury. But I definitely would consider moving off of Nathan Shepard. And I was actually, talking to Lopez whenever this question first popped up at the beginning of our live show. I even kind of thought, hey, it's actually not a bad idea, not a bad thought. My opinion, had Vernon Broughton stayed healthy, I think you don't just move off of Khalen Saunders. I think Nathan Shepard was also a player you move off of. For what it's worth, he was a special teams player of the week this past week for that blocked field goal, which is crazy considering it was actually a first down for the Panthers. But needless to say, NFC Player of the Week in special teams. Lopez, what do you think?
Whether it's Vernon Broughton or Christian Boyd, I do think the Saints will be reevaluating, especially that interior defensive line going into this year or going into the offseason. I think it's going to be something that we see them look at in the draft. It might not be like the first couple rounds, but sure. I think later rounds you could see a D tackle or another interior D lineman taken. So whether that's Vernon Broughton or Christian Boyd, someone's going to be getting playing time. I think Nathan Shepard is just going to be a casualty of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I think that he's a player that hasn't been amazing for the Saints. He hasn't been like an absolute liability by any means. But, when you think about the future, you think about who's going to be who's a part of the long-term plan. I don't think Nathan Shepard is a part of that long-term plan, especially considering you did use prime draft capital on Vernon Broughton. You have drafted Christian Boyd, and I'm also going to sit here and say, like, Devon Godshaw is somebody to also kind of keep your eyes on with this conversation. Like, I think Vernon Broughton will eventually be the nose tackle. Christian Boyd will fill as a defensive tackle who rotates kind of all over the interior. But I do think that the Saints should consider moving off of Nathan Shepard so that way you can keep building the youth and keeping guys around that'll be a part of the long-term plan. Alrighty. Wade. What's going on, brother? Travis Etienne in free agency. His contract is up this year. Yes. Travis Etienne is a free agent this offseason. He is currently with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to Travis Etienne, I think bringing him in would be a really interesting idea. My question is, would he want to leave Trevor Lawrence and the Jags? Like, he went to college with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. Like, I just don't know if he would want to come to New Orleans, but I would kick the tires on him because I think running back is an underrated need. And if you wanted to go spend money in free agency, here's a handful of names to keep your eyes on. Breece Hall is obviously the belle of the ball. I don't think the Saints are going to be able to afford him, but if there's a way you can pull that off, holy shit, you do it. Najee Harris, Rico Dowdle, Javonte Williams, these guys are also all free agents this offseason. So if you want to spend in free agency, there are certainly some interesting targets. But Travis Etienne specifically, 135 carries, 656 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4.9 yards per carry. I think when it comes to the running back position, I'm okay with spending money in free agency. But I do think regardless, you need to add a running back, whether it's draft or free agency, because you need to plan for life after Alvin Kamara. And Kendre Miller just hasn't proved to be able to stick around healthy all season. So running back, in my opinion, is somewhere the Saints need to address this offseason. Lopez, what do you have to say?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Travis Etienne from Louisiana? Wouldn't that be a little homecoming for him? Because that could be something that is kind of looked into if he wants to come back home.
He's from Jennings.
I'm not saying
he went to Jennings High School.
I'm not going to say he wants to play for the black and gold, but a lot of times people do like to come home.
You know, it's I never thought about that. I never thought about
Something I'm not saying it's going to happen.
No, but you do have the ability to tug on the heartstrings a little bit. Say, hey,
we can put your mom first row.
Yeah, grandma can be in the suites. You can see her every game.
She can sit next to Mickey.
Yeah. We don't want that happening. That's Gail Benson's spot. Jaden, good to see you. What's your question, brother? Trace and Lopez, what are the Saints' biggest needs in free agency? We actually did a full free agency preview. I'll link it in the comments and description of this video. We went through every position in need, offense and defense. We went through all of the free agents that the Saints are going to have. We went through the players that I think they should bring back. So we have a full free agency preview. I'm not going to go into every detail of it. I encourage you to check it out. It got posted just a couple of days ago. But biggest needs, I would prefer, rather than drafting interior offensive linemen, I am okay to spend money and go and invest in that regard. I think that would be a smarter decision to bring some experience to the interior offensive line. Quite frankly, Cesar Ruiz is not a player that I'm happy with, and he has been a very frustrating player for a long time, in my opinion. Trevor Penning got dealt at the trade deadline. I think that Dylan Radins does have an opportunity to come back to New Orleans this offseason as well. So I would spend on interior offensive line. I wouldn't mind spending money, just like defensive line, I wouldn't mind. But I don't want to spend top dollars on players right now. That's just not where the New Orleans Saints are at. I'd rather address more needs in the draft, to be totally honest. But, Jaden, thank you for the question. I appreciate you. Like I said, go check out the free agency video for the full answer on this one. It's about 15, 20 minutes, so a ton of good insight there. Tommy, do you think the Saints should trade Spencer for a draft pick or another player? My question is, what's the trade value, though? He was a 5th-round pick, 150th overall. And, of course, he's a quarterback, so that immediately makes his trade value a little bit higher. But, like, you're not getting a 5th-round pick back. Spencer Rattler wasn't good enough to certainly not get more than what we drafted him for. But I also don't think he was horrible where you're not going to get nothing. Like, I wouldn't mind saying let's draft somebody late or let's sign a quarterback, for dirt cheap. Let me pull up the free agent QBs. I do think that trading Spencer Rattler is a conversation to have. Whether or not they do it, that's a different conversation, but that's something that they should consider. Because I also believe that with Spencer Rattler, his future, if it's in New Orleans, is a backup. But if he wants to go and compete elsewhere, try to trade him. Now, top quarterbacks available in free agency. going through the list. You're not going to land Daniel Jones. You're not going to go get Aaron Rodgers. You should do everything in your power to avoid Russell Wilson. I want nothing to do with Marcus Mariota. I mean, he's okay, but whatever. Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy G, Mitch Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Josh Johnson, Carson Wentz, Brandon Allen, Malik Willis, Kyle, Teddy, I wouldn't mind Gardner Minshew. I think you can pay him next to nothing, and I think he'd actually be a good vibes fit in New Orleans and just hold the quarterback or hold the clipboard for Tyler Shough kind of deal. I don't think you need to prioritize adding a quarterback, but trading one away I don't think is a bad idea either. Lopez, what do you think on this?
I think this is definitely going to be a topic that's going to be more in the offseason.
Yeah.
And one team kind of stands out to me. Spencer Rattler, I'll give credit where it's due. He had his moments where I'm like, okay, this guy could win a game or two.
Yeah, he showed, and what Spencer Rattler did is he proved that he can win again.
Mm-hmm.
He proved if you need him to, he can win. And I think if you had a better roster around him, he would be elevated. But in my opinion, I think Spencer Rattler is a player who gets elevated by his roster. He doesn't himself elevate the roster around him.
So
if that makes sense.
Here's what I'm thinking. There's one team that seems to always have a problem with quarterback health. Their team is the offense is pretty good.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Cincinnati Bengals.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, dude, if you can trade
stopping them from giving the Saints a 7th.
Get a 6th. I mean, you don't have a 7th round pick right now. You get that back. That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, if he's not a starter, you should consider it. But having a high-level backup is also a smart thing to do. So it's kind of one of those, it really isn't damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's really you could or you don't. Really doesn't matter either way. It's not like he's costing you a ton of money. But I think that this is something the Saints should explore doing. If they have teams that are willing to pay the trade compensation, why wouldn't you? You got to think about the future. You can't think about a draft pick from a few years ago. Jeezy, what's going on, brother? Where would we be if Shough was our QB at week 3? I don't honestly think it would be that different. I really don't think it would be much of a different situation. And honestly, I'm totally okay with the fact that Spencer Rattler won the quarterback competition. I'm totally okay with the fact that we didn't see Shough start until recently because it gave Shough the ability to step back, watch it all unfold. It gave him the ability to work and develop and grow. He started to show development in his pocket presence and his footwork. He has been able to display his deep ball, the catchable football he throws, the accuracy at all 3 levels. You were able to see that in full display, and I think that the confidence is much, much higher for Tyler Shough because he had that extra time. So personally, I mean, Lopez, if I'm wrong, feel free to chime in here, but I feel like if Shough was the QB at week 3, it really wouldn't be much better. I think that this was the right way to go about it with Tyler Shough. And honestly, I think that we live in a microwave society where everyone wants results like that. I understand it. I get why. But that doesn't mean that you're always going to get it. And that doesn't mean we should just jump ship the second that things get a little bit tough. So I think that Tyler Shough starting now is the right decision. And I don't necessarily know if there would be any drastic improvements. Maybe you have one other win, but
I think that's about as max I go as you fall into one more win.
Yeah, because
I don't even know who would be against.
You wouldn't have beat the Seahawks. You wouldn't have beat the Bills.
That game was closer than we realized.
Might have been closer,
Might have given more of an opportunity to be
sure.
close.
I just think that this was the right way to go about it, if that makes sense. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. Some fun NFL news. Khalen Saunders was cut. The Saints won the trade because they have their part of the trade starting and playing at a high level. And then we had some awesome questions from the Golden Gang. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Trizzy. For Loco Lopez, y'all stay golden. And we'll see you next time. All righty. We're about to sign off here. We're going to sign off. What up, Maddie? Boarding a flight back from Vegas. I am headed to a bachelor party this weekend. If you want to buy the groom a drink, let's get some super chats. I'm going to set a 2-minute timer. And if we don't get any super chats in the next 2 minutes, then I am off to the party. If we are, then I already told him I'm going to hang out a little bit.
We bring the party here.
Yeah, maybe we bring the bachelor party to the studio. Actually, that would actually be kind of lit.
I'm telling you, we have room for a beer pong.
We have a room for a mini fridge. We could put the beard eye table over there.
Couch right here.
We could have a microwave and an air fryer in that corner. We could have a little couch Yeah.
We have so much room for activities.
So much room for activities, Lopez. So much room.
What if we make bunk desks?
Wait, what if we make a mega desk?
So many activities.
Alrighty. If you guys want to support the show and buy my buddy a drink, bachelor party starts tonight. Feel free to send in a donation. Buy the homie a drink. He's getting married here in a few months. One of my dear friends from college, one of my roommates, his name's Zach. Really excited to see him tonight. It's been a while since I got to be with the boys. So it's going to be a good time. If you want to support the show, you got 60 seconds to do so. Otherwise, we're signing off. And if we do get a super chat, stick around a little bit longer. Shout out to CTM being the only one who supported, or who only bought a drink for my boy.
Yeah.
I love football.
CTM's a real one.
Zach. Jaden says he's back. What do you think the win ceiling is in this season? Chadwick, I'll answer that one. Would you trade Spencer Rattler to the Vikings for your fifth back? Absolutely. I just don't think you get the fifth back. Like,
No.
to be totally honest.
A fifth for Spencer Rattler's a little rich.
Yeah, I think the best you're getting is a sixth. Like, and that's no disrespect to Rattler. I just think you have to consider everything here. Are the Vikings going to want to spend a fifth-round pick on him? Yeah, like if they want to spend it, hell yeah, absolutely. If I can get my investment back, sure. But I don't know. It's no disrespect to Rattler. Just I don't know. 5.
Oh, I did mean to pop that one.
4. 3.
Give him another minute because there's
2.
something.
1. We're gonna go to one last question from Keith.
Yeah.
Do you want the Hogs to keep
you.
Petrino? Fuck no, I don't want him to keep Petrino. He does not need to be the head coach. Had he beat Auburn or Mississippi State or both of them, maybe. But he didn't. So no. Bring me James Franklin. Bring me John Gruden. Bring me Galesh. Or John Summerall. That would be fun. Yeah, I'm good on Bobby Petrino. No, thank you.
James Franklin, get ready to go to Fayetteville, buddy.
James Franklin, you better get ready to learn Woo Pig, buddy.
Okay.
Get ready to learn how to call them hogs.
Get ready to learn hog.
Brian Dable also would be sick. I also would love Brian Dable, but again, I don't know if he's coming down. But I don't know, but we'll see. Alrighty, timer ran out. I got a bachelor party to get to. My name is Trizzy for Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.